Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Try Imitating This. This time on a Monday night. I've not been so well, so my guests have been very accommodating this last few days. So thanks to my guests, both of them actually. So speaking of which, Largo, as ever, loyal and faithful to the end. We hope. How are you? And how are you? And how things have been in the week? There's been an incident in the world of wrestling you wanted to tell me about as well.
Well, I've just returned back to work today, and the incident we are talking about, we'll come to, was the Raja Jackson incident, where he's not actually a wrestler. He competes in mixed martial arts. He's 0-1, so he's not exactly Premier League, and he's gone into business for himself and punched somebody for real repeatedly.
Oh my God! What in one of these choreographed wrestling matches? You mean? So it's
basically he was friends with a wrestler.
Yeah.
Said wrestler invited him backstage to a show. Bearing in mind, Roger Jackson is just an MMA guy and a social media guy. Another guy who is called Psycho Stu. Bear in mind, this is not a top promotion. This is something people will do at the weekends, it looked like to me. He's this other guy, the wrestler. He's been sitting backstage with his friends, the vets, as they would call, drinking, obviously. He's a little bit drunk. He walks up to Raja Jackson, probably doesn't really know who he is, picks up a beer can and jabs it into his head. And then Raja Jackson doesn't, quote, sell it. He just stands there looking back at him. And it gets split up. But then the friend of Raja Jackson, who's invited him there, says, "Don't worry, you can get a receipt later." Bearing in mind, Raja Jackson is not a wrestler. He doesn't know anything about wrestling. I'm cutting long story short here. And the people who are running this show must be absolute cowboys, because if he doesn't know anything about it, he shouldn't be anywhere near the ring, right? So basically, they say to him, yeah, you can run in the match later and you can get, and bearing in mind, the other guy who's the wrestler said to him he can get his receipt. So the people who run the promotion go, yeah, we'll tell you when you can do your run in later. He does his run in, he does what I can see is a legitimate MMA slam, knocks the guy out. So the guy's knocked out, the guy who assaulted him, and he punches him, I think, 22 times in the face. Bearing in mind, he's been knocked out before he got punched. So he's an unconscious man getting punched in the face 22 times. So basically, it's like you're asleep and you're getting punched in the face, so your body's not bracing.
And I don't know.
By somebody who is trained to punch people professionally. Real.
But it sounds like he's not all that good at it. But on this occasion, he's teeing off on an open target.
Now, my take on this is the people, including Psycho Stu and anybody who's running this promotion, is a cowboy. It's a joke. This isn't a professional. Like if you ran this by a AEW, WWE human resources department, they would scream. Their blood would run cold. So this is clearly not a top. This is obviously a joke. This promotion is a joke and shouldn't be allowed to exist. But at the same time, why punching somebody in the face 22 times when they're already unconscious is a terrible thing to do?
Well, there comes a point, Largo, we'll bring on the guest in a sec, maybe you've got some thoughts on it as well. There comes a point where actually a crime is being committed.
This is the thing.
Which often gets forgotten, and tearing off on a guy who was unconscious and therefore completely unable to defend himself he could go as far. He could go from anywhere, from GBH right up to murder. Seriously.
Raja Jackson apparently was overcoming a concussion from a kick to the head that he received in a sparring session. So I can understand why he might be annoyed, but then he should have dealt with it in that moment, not. Oh, by the way, this whole thing, he was live streaming it on Kick. So this is live. So basically, you can find it in detail on YouTube. So the police don't really have to do an investigation because the whole crime before, leading up to, and after is on YouTube. in real time.
Yeah. Yeah, Arthur, mate, we'll bring you in as well tonight. Tonight's special guest is Arthur Chappell, poet, author, Arthur the author, indeed. And bit of a beer expert as well. Thinking about it. So, what are you on with tonight?
Well, I think more pub expert than beer expert, but yeah, I mean, listening to that was an absolute horror story, wasn't it? I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I was saying assault is just. I mean, if you're attacked, you might use violence to incapacitate the guy who's coming at you. But if you're literally attacking somebody who's unconscious, that's just insane. I mean, to me, that's attempted murder. It's not even assault, is it? It's just literally. I mean, what state that guy's going to be in when he wakes up if he wasn't plowed into.
He has woken up. Apparently, he has woken up, but
you're go on, Largo.
I'm going to say he was unconscious for a long time, but he's now woken up.
Wow.
Right.
But yeah.
It reminds me of a case. I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I think I have on air, maybe even on air before. I was in Manchester about 13, 14 years ago now, and it was the first day of the football season. And Preston got beat by Doncaster from that day, deep down. It was the season we got relegated from the Championship in the end. And I actually happened to be in Manchester, and we ended up taking a turn. Believe it or not, it wasn't our intention, but so what? We actually ended up on Canal Street. Ended up on this bar in Canal Street. And there was this guy, and he came collecting. He had a bucket, and he said he was collecting money for charity. So I'll take his word for it that he was, but he didn't sound like he was from Manchester. You've got roots in Manchester, Arthur, haven't you? I can tell.
I've lived in Manchester for most of my life, so yeah, I know it quite well.
Yeah. I can tell you a bank. So this lad was taking, it's like, I threw 50p in the bucket. I said, "You're not from around here." And he goes, I'm from Birmingham, an ex-football hooligan. I was a member of the Suicide Squad. Anyway, he told me his name, which I won't repeat on air. And he told me what had happened was he'd gone to the States, and he was a trained kick fighter or something, or a kickboxer or whatever. And
I heard about this guy.
Yeah, and he attacked a guy outside a nightclub. He got in a fight outside a nightclub. He nailed the bloke. The guy's fallen backwards, hit the back of his head on a pavement, dead. Right?
Oh.
And I said, "What did you get done for?" He said, "Murder." I said, "Murder? You didn't mean to kill him." So it's manslaughter tops, isn't it, Dan? He said, "No, it was murder." I said, "Is this because you were trained as a kickboxer then?" Yes. Basically, when you're trained at that level in a combat sport, you are deemed to be a deadly weapon. So if you tee off on somebody, you do so in the knowledge that you could do serious damage, and that is why you might get charged with murder and not manslaughter in that situation. As he did. And I think he did 12 or 13 years inside in America, which is quite light for murder, but yeah.
He got off lightly, really.
Yeah, you know a lot about him.
I've heard about this guy, yeah. I think he may have passed away.
Right, the guy who went to America. He went to America, he didn't come back. I spoke to a Clarets fan who knew who he was, and she just said he was a very silly boy. But there you go, I'll leave it at that.
A big
so, yeah.
I mean, there was something popped up on one of these recommended videos of YouTube where there's a guy called the One Punch Killer in the UK. He just went out with his friends, punched somebody once, the guy died. Just like that. And he was like, this guy who punched him was doesn't seem like a particularly malevolent character, just a totally normal person. Young, immature, alcohol, punches someone, boom, someone dies.
Well, how was he able to hit somebody that hard? Am I being naive?
It doesn't matter because the guy fell over and banged his head.
Right, but sorry, how many times did he do this?
I think it was one punch killer.
Right. No, but he wasn't doing it as a thing. It wasn't like a serial or anything. Right, okay.
No. And people said it was out of character for him to punch someone.
Right.
It just one lucky hit, bang.
Yeah.
You fall
Yeah,
back. You fall in a bad position. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean, go on, Arthur.
Well, yeah, I think the thing. I mean, I used to do judo when I was younger. I mean, I didn't do it for too long, but basically, you're going to reach a point where basically you're not fighting, you're not training to actually take down the opponent. You'd have to actually, once you get to a certain point of black belt 9 10 dan, you're actually learning how to control it. So you're not actually going to actually kill somebody.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are basically going to be like Superman taking out a mugger. You're just going to literally tear him. You reduce him to atoms with the flick of a finger. He's no match for you in the same way that Doomsday or some of the big supervillains are going to be. There's just no contest. It just gets ridiculous. It's more about learning to rein it in, and that's the trouble. If you've got these guys running around like loose cannons with an incredible amount of power, they are walking weapons of mass destruction. With no barriers and no limitations on what they're doing.
Yeah.
I tell you, speaking of, there was another case in Britain about it was in the 2000s. Remember Gary Delaney, the guy who was a boxer who fought for the British heavyweight title. He was working as a nightclub bouncer, and exactly the same thing happened. Nailed a bloke, in a fight outside a club. Fell back, head on the pavement, dead. It's just scary. I think I sent you both links to this. I've seen some good channels on YouTube this week. There's a particularly good one called "I Could Murder a Podcast." So I know, Arthur, I know you like your true crime. So get stuck into that. There's hundreds of videos there, mate. Hundreds of them.
I used to listen to that on Spotify.
Yeah. It reminds me, when I was at work about 10 years ago, there was a supplier, when I was doing supply chain stuff, and we had this supplier, I won't mention the name, and we looked him up on the system, and it just used to make me laugh that the contact name of that supplier was called Fred West. It just made me... Yeah, absolutely. If he invites you around for a garden party, say no. That's an old Billy Conley joke, isn't it? That was the real shocker when it turned out that Fred West's house was on an ancient Indian burial ground. 300 dead, 74 on horseback.
It's probably Fred West's defence to try and get out of it. Yeah, he's been there for centuries, honest.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, but he's no longer with us. Rose is still alive, though, isn't she? I think Rose West's still alive.
Yeah.
No. That's a good question.
Yeah, I think she is still going, isn't she?
If you contact the show, Rose, if you're listening. The one thing I like about I Could Murder a Podcast was when they did the lookalikes at the end, and I had to laugh when they did the O.J. Simpson one, and they mentioned the striking resemblance between O.J. Simpson and Candyman, from the movies of the same name. Candyman. The Candyman with that hook. I bet he failed the glove test as well. But
Well, I did look up my name on Google to see if I could find all the various people who mentioned me online. And I did discover there is actually an Arthur Chappell with the same spelling as me on death row in California. He looks nothing like me actually at all, but basically there is an Arthur Chappell on death row in California.
Right. Well, there was a Darren Pierce who was a DJ. We have done the same thing, Arthur.
Yeah.
Okay, Darren, are we going to do a top 10 list?
I think we should. Yeah. So we'll get into Arthur, and we'll do. But maybe in the last third of the show, if we both do a poem, Arthur. But no, middle third of the show, maybe third of the show. It's all yours on your books. But let's have a quick look. Yeah, do this top 10 list. So what I'm going to do, I've got a cup of tea here. Because I think my beer drinking days maybe coming towards an end. You lads, you're on the Murphys, Arthur. Have you gone for the Romanian one, Margot? Have you gone for the Romanian beer?
Well, unfortunately, I have work tomorrow, so no alcohol for me, I'm afraid.
Right. Well, there you go. I did once win some Romanian Chardonnay in a raffle. It tasted about as good. It tasted about as good as it sounds. Right. We made sangria with it. Right. So the one I was going to do is I'm going to have another cup of tea after the show. I might have two slices of buttered toast with it. What do you reckon?
Good plan.
Yeah, and it just brought me to this list we did not so long ago. So the top 10 plain food and drinks. So I tell you, do you rattle off some that come to mind, lads, and just let's see what we've got.
I've got a list in no particular order. I was just writing them down. Now, I've not put any Spanish things on here because I know I'm in Spain, so I'm basing it from the UK. So, in no particular order, crumbly Lancashire cheese.
Right.
I'm very partial to that. Red wine. A boiled egg with toast.
Right. Is red wine a plain thing?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Hot pot, Lancashire hot pot.
Okay, hot.
Lancashire hot pot.
Yes, with no sauce and no pickled cabbage or anything nonsensical like that. Just right, yeah. A scone, buttered or otherwise, yeah.
A butter pie.
Good shout, a butter pie.
A flapjack.
Oh God, flapjack, yeah, plain flapjack, yeah, definitely. Good shout that one, Marco.
A banana. I quite like a banana.
Yeah, banana's good.
Yeah, I like bananas. I'm not actually allowed to have them anymore because the potassium apparently conflicts with stoma. So
right. Ball.
Stomas are off my list, unfortunately. Sorry, bananas on my list. Don't eat stomas. They're definitely bad.
So did you say spaghetti bolognese? That's cheating a little bit, Largo. Come on, spaghetti bolognese is a bit. It's got like peppers and spices and herbs in it and stuff.
Okay. I mean, you said rice pudding. I mean, that's got a lot of ingredients as well. But okay. A hot cross bun, would that be allowed?
That's sort of it's in the same ballpark as a scone, isn't it? But yeah, it would certainly count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, my other one was a lasagna, but that's not going to be allowed on.
And I don't know because lasagna. I mean, like, because you can get lasagnas can be quite extravagant numbers, can't they? They can be.
They can, but in the winter when you're hungry, it's just for me, it's a comfort food.
Yeah, or a spinach with a cannelloni. Totally, I'm not knocking it in any way.
It's like a spaghetti bolognese. It's just I can do it. I freeze it.
Yeah. Oh. You in, Arthur?
Hope he comes back.
I hope he does come back.
I mean, my logic here was that I know how to make a spaghetti bolognese, but I don't know how to make a butter pie.
Yeah, I think it might be these signals cut out temporarily, but hopefully Arthur comes back. A butter pie, no, you've just got to go to Bowen's or Greenhouse and buy one, haven't you?
Yeah, that's the thing. But
sorry, you got cut off there for a second.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we're just talking about plain things. So yeah, Arthur,
a spaghetti bolognese is quite a simple thing to make.
It's not a terribly difficult thing to make, but then again, there's neither a pot noodle, so would that count?
If you,
just kind of running off a quick.
What about chili?
Go on. That's interesting. Go on, Arthur.
Poached eggs, which I absolutely love because I do them on my air fryer all the time. Pretzels, which are actually really good for me. I'm actually get addicted to those at the moment, so I get 2 tons of those. Meat pies. I just love a decent meat pie. Just a Hollands pie will do me.
Or a meat and potato one as well.
Yeah. Jacket spuds, especially with chili con carne.
Jacket potato. Yes.
Yeah, love a jacket spud. Chicken jalfrezi, probably my favourite of the curries. Pretty much any pizza. Lasagna, love lasagna. think I'm turning into Garfield on lasagna. It's, hot dogs, burgers, well, proper burgers, not McDonald's type rubbish. Yeah, I mean, quite a wide place.
It's funny. I went to McDonald's. And got a fillet o fish a couple of years ago, and I kind of regretted it massively. Like within the second that I bought it, and you know what struck me about McDonald's was how crap the bread is. The bread you get in McDonald's, oh my god, it's the worst thing about it. It's like bread shouldn't taste sweet, should it?
Actually, a lot of places now have started doing burgers and hot dogs and things on brioche bread.
Right.
Which is a sweet bread. They shouldn't, but they do.
They shouldn't. They definitely shouldn't. Yeah, there were some great shouts in there. I mean, that was one that I was going to put on my list there afterwards. On the margarita pizza, just a straight margarita pizza is lovely always.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Chicken jalfrezi, is that more complicated than a spaghetti bolognese?
Well, I don't know how plain it is. Yeah, I don't know how plain a chicken jalfrezi is. I suppose you're right that if you got a jar of jalfrezi sauce from the supermarket and some boil in the bag rice or something, it's not that difficult. Yeah, it's not difficult to make. Is it?
It's something I will tend to have in restaurants rather than cooking myself. I mean, I have done tinned ones occasionally, but it's more. Most of my food is basically just stuff I can shove in the microwave or the air fryer for a few minutes and warm it up.
But I think you can get bolognese sauces though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah. I'll just give you some of mine that maybe we haven't mentioned yet. So a pint of bitter. That's pretty plain. Vanilla ice cream. Buttered toast or buttered crumpets. Just a straight portion of chips. Shredded wheat or Weetabix. Tomato soup, digestive biscuits.
Nice, yeah. Chicken soup. I love chicken soup, and we just get a chicken soup quite happily.
Yeah, a packet of plain crisps and a cup of tea, Greek yogurt, porridge, rice pudding. So they're the ones I would add in there.
If I was going to go for plain crisps, for me, I don't even know if they still exist, but I would have to choose Seabrooks.
They do still exist, and they're a good shout. What about Arthur?
Yeah, I mean, the crisps. I mean, I actually do like prawn cocktail, which a lot of people hate, but I actually think prawn cocktail crisps are really nice.
I used to like them. Yeah,
they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're okay. They're okay. Yeah. Do you know what? That's the funny thing. Do you know what? I'm just thinking about it, Arthur. If I had to pick two flavors, it would be either plain or prawn cocktail. If I was feeling cheeky, I'd have prawn cocktail. And if I was
cheese and onion or salt and vinegar.
Right.
Yeah. I tend to be a complete heathen. I mean, I'll have a kebab on the way to the pub. There's a lot of people have a me. I'm mostly like hardcore and actually have a kebab on the way to the pub. And I do actually like pineapple on pizza as well. A lot of people detach.
Me too.
That, so.
Me too.
No, don't mind.
It's a great combination.
Don't mind pineapple on pizza. Yeah, well, they put pineapple and cheese on sticks together, don't they? So there you go.
If you get one of those tropical pizzas and you put Tabasco on it, that just takes it to a new level. You got the cheese, you've got the pineapple and the Tabasco.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Right. I'll see and raise your Tabasco with Encona hot sauce, Largo.
Yeah.
What's Encona hot sauce?
You've never had Encona hot sauce?
I've not heard of it.
No, I don't think you can have that if you've got Stover, by the way. No, that makes Tabasco look like something on our top 10 plain things list.
Really?
Yeah, you've never had Encona hot sauce. It's
I live in Spain. They do not do spicy here. So if you can get Tabasco, you're doing well.
Right. Encona's like Tabasco, like the next level up from Tabasco. It is.
I'm not really into crazy spicy stuff. I just like something, just a bit of spice. Just.
Yeah.
I'm not into the ones where people have to eat it and then they are like drinking milk after and stuff like that. That's not for me.
Oh, you mean like the ones where they do that challenge? I mean, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin did the Hot Wings challenge, and
Yeah, I'm
they
not
got
doing that.
and they got to level 7, and he was sweating. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not for me. That's not for me.
There used to be a thing with a pub I used to go in Manchester called Fab Cafe, where me and a couple of the bar staff used to challenge each other a lot to actually bring in the hottest chili that we could find.
No.
So we'd be coming in with things like Scotch bonnets and all sorts. And I found one called Death Chili. It literally had a skull and crossbones.
No.
Yeah.
It was quite hot. But what really took me out was basically I made the mistake of eating it by pouring it on my fingers and then sort of licking it off with my fingers, and then made the mistake of rubbing my eyes. I was literally on the floor screaming in agony.
Yeah. Yourself.
Like you've been maced or something.
It's one of the ingredients they put in tear gas because it has that effect. I had to actually be escorted to the loo to be able to get water into my.
Oh dear God! That was that. Well, there you go. Right, maybe when you get to a certain age, you'll stop the chili challenges.
Yeah.
This will give you an idea. I mean, my curry that I use, when I do get a curry, if I do the one I usually go for is a madras, and that's my comfort zone with spice.
Okay.
That would be. I can eat a madras quite comfortably, but if you go above that, it's just pain.
Madras is fine. Jalfrezi I can do, but anything daft like you can get fowl sauce in the supermarket now as well. I wouldn't have another fowl. And I had it once. I was like, it was like there's a Jasper Carrot joke about a fowl. He goes, why is it called a fowl? It goes, because you have the first couple of mouthfuls, and you go, I'll be all right.
Oh my gosh, no.
Go on.
So I don't mind it really. I mean, I can do a vindaloo, but it's like as long as you can still taste the food that's actually under it, it should be okay. Otherwise, you are just literally taking in a sensation of heat, and it's just basically all you're doing is testing whether you can actually tolerate it or not. It's not enjoyable. It becomes an endurance test.
I've always enjoyed chili con carne. I've always thought that was a good meal.
Yeah. Good chili con carne.
Yeah, chili's pretty good. Yeah, if whether it is with meat or with meat substitute or something else, absolutely.
Yeah, it works. And the good thing is one of those things you can make and freeze it, or you make it and you've got food for 2 days.
Yeah. Do you mix it up? Do you always have it with rice, or do you ever have it with pasta or anything like that?
No, I usually I have it with rice. Or I might have some chips as well. I've had it with a jacket potato before.
Yeah, that's a staple. Like I think Arthur mentioned it. There's a staple of those things where you get the choice of fillings on a jacket potato. You get beans, tuna, coleslaw, or chili con carne. They're the ones. Yeah.
Oh, grated cheese.
Yeah. So I think chili con carne is a great addition to any kitchen.
No, absolutely.
Right. Well, have it once a week, maybe. Get it maybe twice a week. Make it 2. Make it 2. Have it 2 nights a week.
And then you freeze it, so you can have it in a few days, and it's good. You take it out the freezer before you go to work. You come back, it's ready to. You can just stick it in the microwave. Boom.
Well, I'm not full carnivore like I would. I'm a bit like you. I'm not quite as militant on the food, on the diet as I used to be. So yeah, I can lapse. Let's just say that, okay? But I was never. You knew me for that. I was never one of those horrible fascist type people either, who was telling other people what to do. Never have been. You're the old joke, Arthur, don't you? About how do you know a vegan's a vegan?
No.
Don't worry, he'll tell you.
I mean, I do eat meat, but usually my dinner time meal is like an omelette, and my evening meal will be something like a spaghetti, a chili, a curry.
Yeah.
I do think people can still eat too much meat and should limit the amount of meat they eat as well. You can't eat meat and everything. You know what I mean?
I mean, people should know what works for them. I mean, your body will usually tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong.
I've got some friends. I've got some friends who are vegan and vegetarian, so I quite often do end up eating vegan vegetarian foods, and some of it is really, really good. There's some really nice that they do.
You get great vegetarian curry, all kinds of them. Back in the day, I used to eat corn.
Yeah, really good mushroom stroganoff.
Yeah.
It's very tasty, very nice.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, no, can't go wrong. So we will have to do a cookery program next time, lads. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll invite on someone who can actually cook. Who knows?
You definitely wouldn't want me on a cooking show. It'd probably be a bit like getting Lucretia Borgia to do your cooking.
Yeah, a bit like that. It's like the smoke alarm. It's like Richie giving one of these Friday night fry-ups on bottom. Yeah. So I tell you what. So we've one of the reasons we got you on the show, Arthur, is I mean you've got quite a few books out. You've produced quite a few books. Stuff around pub signs, and as well as poetry you've got. So, do you want to talk us through a couple of those, mate?
Well, I've done 2 pub sign books. That's one of them. The letter, it actually reads backwards on my screen. I hope you get it the right way around.
I've got here. Watch the signs.
Yeah,
pub signs related to science fiction, fantasy, and horror.
It's reversed on mine for some reason. It's got a mirror image version of it. But it's one of them. That's a book. I actually gave a talk on pub signs related to science fiction to a science fiction convention in Birmingham, and the publisher was actually in the audience and asked me if I'd turn it into a book for him, basically, which you can imagine he didn't take a lot of arm twisting. And this was actually the results. You probably can't see the images. There aren't any page, but I mean that's one of the signs that's in it. That's the Globe Pub in Glossop. It's actually the only vegan pub the first vegan pub in the UK, and basically, but it actually shows a full shot of the Earth, where a lot of Globe pubs don't tend to show that quite so well. So that's quite a good one.
Beautiful.
So you can see it's got Spock on the front. There's actually a pub called the Vulcan in I forget where it actually is now. I'll just look it up. In Sizewell in Suffolk, near the nuclear reactor. But it's actually it's called the Vulcan, but it's actually got a picture of Spock on it because he's from Vulcan. And So that was an odd one for the books.
Do you remember? Do you remember the Tory MP and one-time leadership contender John Redwood? Remember him? And his nickname was Vulcan for that reason, because he had that. He was also a bit of a right-wing girl, wasn't he? Like, I remember him quite well.
John Redwood, he was really dull.
He'd got on the top 10 playing things list, I think.
I don't know. He was dull. It was like he was dull on the level of like when you're off sick from school, you want to watch Supermarket Sweep, and your dad puts on the Money program or something.
All right.
That John Redwood was like that, you know.
Yeah.
Why would you want to watch Supermarket Sweep when Kilroy's on the other side?
No. There's different times.
Yeah, I tended to lose out on telly to my parents because basically, when I was growing up, of course, they only had the 3 basic channels, BBC 1, 2, and ITV. My parents were always into Coronation Street, and I wanted to watch Star Trek, and they were on at the same time. So I was basically just by sheer democracy, I was outnumbered. I got to see the opening 10 minutes of Star Trek, and then it'd be over to Ina Sharples and LT Tanner.
Oh God! Yeah.
I remember a similar problem with Top of the Pops and Coronation Street. You had to choose one.
Yeah.
Well, it would be top of the Pops all the way, but surely it would be Top of the Pops, but
I'm afraid not.
Wouldn't it? Okay.
Because I could listen to Top of the Pops on Radio 5.
You know, it's a shame, Arthur. You know, so what you're basically saying is that you had to forfeit Captain Kirk for Hilda Ogden.
Absolutely, yeah.
You poor lamb. You poor lamb.
Pat Phoenix.
Unfortunately, I'd have been on to Ezra Ranson's Lifeline if the timeline. He was like, "Am I giving you watch Coronation Street again?"
What I didn't realise, because Channel 4 came in, and we'll talk about your other book in a second, we can. In I think it was 1982, wasn't it, that Channel 4 started?
Yeah, it was.
I'm just educating on something there, because I didn't realise Star Trek was on British television, not like the 70s.
Yeah. Well, in repeats, they've been on pretty much continually through. I mean, I think Next Gen was basically running by about 82. The Star Trek Next Generation. So
Next Generation was 87, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a massive Trekkie, and I've got a brother who is, but we've got So you're right. So I tell you what, I was familiar when I was a kid growing up. It used to be on. It used to be on sort of around the time of the Simpsons. It would be on BBC Two. It might be on after that or something.
Yeah.
But
you remember there was Babylon 5 as well.
I love Babylon 5.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently it's based on the European Union.
Yeah. Yeah, it could actually be seen as an echo of that, definitely. He's very similar to Deep Space Nine because they both had a very similar kind of premise. There's a lot of speculation that the people who made Deep Space Nine probably stole a lot of their ideas from Babylon 5 because basically space stations guarding a wormhole basically and trying to protect it from various warring factions around them. And the kind of very similar basic premise but I think they both took in different directions ultimately. So all is forgiven now.
Babylon 5 had quite an abrupt ending, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, they ran into problems. I mean, they thought they were going to get cancelled after season 4. They were originally going to do 5 seasons. Then they thought they were going to get cancelled at the end of season 4. So they crammed most of the storyline into season 4. Then got season 5. And basically, so a lot of the season 5 is actually flashback episodes to before the end of season 4. And then they kind of tacked on 2 extra episodes at the end, which were basically just prolonged series of goodbyes as characters left basically the series, and they'd have like a long farewell session to them, which kind of like ruined the continuity of it considerably. They blew themselves out of the water by their fear of cancellation.
Tell you what, there's a couple of quick things. One was that I remember there was a claim to fame. It was a meme on Facebook actually, and that is that Star Trek is one of the very few examples of a socialist society that actually works. There was a kid talking to his dad and saying, "But I watch Star Trek and they have a socialist system and it works wonderfully." And Dad goes, "But that's a work of fiction, son."
Yeah. Doctor Who?
I found the Federation quite tyrannical because they turn up on another planet and kind of almost. I mean, they were saying they talk about the Prime Directive and then spend the rest of the episode making them change their ways to actually follow the Earth democratic pattern, and basically, it was very much on a kind of naval command structure.
Yeah,
because you've got the admiral, the captain. And if you actually look, they're all Navy ranks. And basically, it is basically the U.S. Marines in space with a civilian kind of scientific kind of contingent on board.
And a regime change policy by the sounds of it as well.
Yeah. I mean, later treks do tend to go more into the idea that the Federation is more fascistic than basically they kind of think. There's a whole story arc in Voyager with a thing called the Marquis, which is kind of a rebellion kind of faction trying to take down the main federation and things, and that turned into a kind of rebellion, which kind of echoed what was happening in Blake 7, because they were up against a group called the Federation, who were total fascists. And it was
that
there's
was a good example of British sci-fi, Blake 7.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of politics does come into it quite a lot in both.
How did you ever enjoy Stargate SG-1?
I didn't much get into the series. It did some decent standalone episodes, but I never really kind of got hooked on it enough to kind of follow it continually.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's times when I tune in and I was like, well, who are these people now? So they did move the story on quite a bit. So I was never really kind of hooked enough to follow it episode by episode.
Yeah.
The ones I saw were generally okay. I think I was put off at first because I didn't particularly like the original film that it was based on, which I actually thought was rubbish. The TV series does seem to have actually done a lot better than the film did.
Yeah.
Arthur, just a quick one for you. It says you're a sci-fi guy. I'm not a big sci-fi buff myself, but one of the things I do remember really enjoying watching was that reboot of The Outer Limits in the 90s. Did you watch that?
Yeah, they did some good episodes with that.
Absolutely.
George R. R. Martin wrote some of them, basically, the guy who went on to do Game of Thrones. And, but I actually remember the original Outer Limits series.
Right, yeah.
1950s.
Episodes in those, yeah. But they were reshown in the 60s and 70s, and then there's some absolute classic episodes of those. It was kind of like the Twilight Zone with longer, more complicated stories. But still taking on some very big, profound ideas as well. But yeah, I mean, it's some amazing stuff.
Yeah, I
think the new ones captured the spirit of that quite well.
I just enjoy it.
Did you enjoy the Ray Bradbury Theatre?
Oh yeah, I loved those. Yeah, I was a big fan of Ray Bradbury as a writer in general.
Oh yeah, Fahrenheit 451, Martian Chronicles, just brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic writer.
I remember the Ray Bradbury Theatre was probably my out of Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, Ray Bradbury Theatre. Yeah. That was my favourite one.
Oh yeah. I'll try and find it for you at some point. There's a great advert on YouTube, basically from the 1970s, and it's actually an advert for a company making prunes, and they've actually got Ray Bradbury in it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they start talking about how Ray Bradbury predicted that their prunes were good, the prunes were going to be great, and this company would make fantastic prunes. And he comes on and says, like, none of my books say anything like this. And it's like they're always quite dismissive of him, basically going on about their prunes and rewriting everything to make it look like Ray Bradbury was a champion of them. In the background, like, no, I didn't. It's a very fun.
There you go. Get your prunes out, kids. Get your prunes. Oh dear, God, right. I'll dig some more of those Outer Limits episodes out anyway. I'll tell you what, though, just before we move to your book, actually, the book, one of the things we were talking about, simple things, plain things. One of the nicest periods of my life, actually, when I was a teenager, was when I used to do the simple things. I'd be on a Monday like tonight, and I'd go and play cricket for a few hours. And then we'd come home and we'd watch The Outer Limits, and we'd watch a couple of other shows that were on after it. There was a series called Clash of the Titans, Largo, you might remember that.
Titans, yeah.
Yeah, so those two were on back to back, so you kind of spoiled watching those two together. Go on.
I remember for me.
I don't know the TV series of that name.
What's that, Clash of the Titans? It was a sports show.
Right. I thought you meant the Ray Harryhausen film with the.
No, it was about epic sporting rivalries, and it'd be about 3/4 of an hour. So it was about. Yeah, so they did a series of them. So there was a series of The Outer Limits and a series of that, and they ran concurrently, and they finished at the same time, like when we went back to school, basically. So nice some of that.
I remember coming back from Cubs and watching Outer Limits.
Yeah. So it would have been cricket. Would have been cricket on a Monday night for us. So
the simple thing that I used to get a lot of pleasure out. Pre-internet days, didn't have a TV in my room. The radio.
Yeah.
Could be a Radio 4 play, sport on Radio 5 or Radio Lancashire, music. I used to make a bit of money recording songs off the radio.
How charming. That was that line of The Simpsons, wasn't it? Elton John, I taped all your songs off the radio.
Yeah, I used to have an old cassette recorder, when you used to have the proper cassette thing, so I was always taping stuff off the radio with that.
Yeah.
Arthur might be interested in this, because you're right, about the value of the radio, because my DAB radio broke, I need to replace it. But I used to quite like lying in bed sometimes, and it might be a Friday night or something, and it'd get to midnight, and they'd have a sci-fi, like a sci-fi couple of hours on Radio 4 Extra.
Yeah.
I never realised I was never into sci-fi for some weird reason. But I should have been. You know what I mean? It's like the stuff on the radio. The stuff on the radio is pretty well made, particularly the older stuff. Stuff
really good. Yeah.
My favourite play ever is a Radio 4 sci-fi play.
Is it right?
Postcards from a Cataclysm.
All right. Okay. There was a great one about the maniac on the train. And then it goes to the last stop, which I don't do that one.
Yeah.
And and there's the other one I remember going to work once on a Saturday, and rather than put the football on, I put Radio 4 on instead. It was just me. I was alone working, and I was doing this boring job. So I put the DAB radio on. I put Radio 4 on, and do you know the story of the poison chocolates? Then who's the poisoner?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one. It was on between just before I went between 4 and 5. I'm like, well, I'm not going on till it finishes. My work's done. So but speaking of great works of literature, Arthur, do you have another book you want to show us, mate?
I've got multiple books. I've actually done quite a few books, and quite a few books I actually appear in. I found this when I was going through my books. It's actually the very first school college magazine that I actually had a work of actually in it.
No, that's not you, Arthur. That's Lord Kitchener. I know that.
On the campus, the Princely Sum of 10p. That's actually got the first work I ever actually had in print in it. It's one of my short stories, I think. So I've still kept that. And my more recent stuff is this is my other the big pub signs book that I've done more recently. This came out last year. Massive launch party at Vinyl Tap in Preston. I actually managed to get the mayor to come along to introduce it as well, which is a fantastic event. This one, unlike the other one, this one's actually in colour, so there's lots of pictures of pub signs in colour and lots of descriptions of
brilliant.
From around. They're right across Britain. There's one there from the Scilly Isles. So I get people to send me signs in now as well. I don't just use signs I'm taking pictures of.
If I see any interesting ones, I'll send them to Darren and he can pass them on to you.
I'm sure, Arthur. I'm sure we can swap correspondence, can't we, in terms of addresses, email addresses, and the like. It's fine. Yeah. I'll send you a note, Arthur, and copy like away. All right.
Absolutely.
You can stay in touch. Yeah. I'll tell you the funny one. Did you ever go to the Lasso Gallery on Oxford Road?
Oh yeah, I know it well.
Right. Yeah. I love the. It's not so much a sign. I don't know if it is a sign or not. But there's a great photograph on the wall of the Lasso Gallery.
Is this the Gloria?
It's the Private Eye, the front page of Private Eye, and it says, and it's got James Anderton on the front, the former chief, the president of the God's
Cop.
Yeah, and it says, and the headline is "God speaks the knacker." There's a speech bubble saying "You're fired."
Yeah, well, the Lassigary actually has a plaque just outside because it's actually on the side of the River Medlock, and there's a plaque outside the pub basically with pointing out that it's actually the world's oldest Pizzarotti, which is basically was a hole drilled into the bridge on the wall. So because they had no men's loos then, there was no sanitation. So Ben would just literally finish up about 6 pints and then go out and basically just weave through the hole in the wall into the river. And then basically called as the Pizzarotti. And they've actually still got the spot where it was marked.
Right.
with a plaque to commemorate their pride in the fact that you could do that.
Right, there you go. There you go. When they made the prisoners do it in strange ways, they rioted.
Yeah. Yeah. They do actually have toilets in the pub now. You don't need to do that anymore.
I know that, and I think if you try to do that now, you probably would get arrested for indecent exposure or something like that. Don't do that. Don't piss outside the pub. I know we've all done it once, but if you can, if you can restrain yourself, just queue up like everyone else.
I remember when we were about 18 out in Lancaster, and one young man who shall remain nameless couldn't be bothered waiting to go to the toilet, so he did his business in the beer garden of a pub that does no longer exist, called the Yorkshire House, near the bus station. And the landlord gave him a sponge and a bucket and made him clean it up.
So, sorry, dare I ask, one or two?
Number one.
Right.
It was urine, but he just took it on himself to relieve himself there and then. And the landlord basically shouted at him and made him clean it up in front of everybody and tell me when you're done so I can check it. Right.
Did he ban him from the pub, or was that the end of it?
No, that was the end of it.
Right. Didn't you have another friend who did something in a beer glass?
Yeah, he was running around with it, and that was in Preston. I'm not saying where. And he was so drunk, he was running around with it, going, "Mr. Whippy, it's so much fun. He makes treats for everyone." And this was the same day, I think Middlesbrough knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup. Anyway, we were chased out of said pub, and we ended up getting the train back to Lancaster and watching Manchester United lose to Middlesbrough.
So he was running around the pub with a glass with his poo in it, basically.
He basically crouched behind the pool table and done it, and gone, "Look, it's Mr. Whippy."
Is this a pub we've ever been in?
We might have done. I don't even know if it is still a pub. I mean, I'm not going to say the name.
No, maybe not. It's not good for marketing purposes, is it? But
I mean, I will I will in private. But yeah,
you tell us off there.
Yeah. I'll tell you off air. But I can tell you the day. It was when Manchester United got knocked out of the FA Cup by Middlesbrough.
Right, I just remember when that was. It'll be 2000s then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Don't do what that guy did.
And I was quite young, and sort of my drinking career was in its infancy, and we just ran out in fear and ran all the way to the train station and carried on drinking.
So there were people that wanted to kick heads in, basically.
Yeah, big time. No, going up to people with it.
I'm not that shocked at all. I'm just, to be honest with you, mate. Right, when I was that age, and I was sort of late teens, early 20s, and I did some daft shit, right?
Yeah.
But I would never have gone near that level. Do you know what I mean? It's that's way too far. I'm kind of disgusting with it.
What I will say about this guy is he could always handle himself.
Yeah, but
I've never done anything that spectacularly stupid in any pub, I don't think. I'm actually quite square when it comes to... If I have too much to drink, I just quietly fall asleep in the corner, actually. I tend to be quite...
Yeah, I mean, this week we were 18, 19, something like that.
Even then, I was never a hellraiser.
No.
I can do, you know me, I can do a few things. I can turn into a philosopher. I can turn into a degenerate, and I can turn into a dog with two dicks, but not anything like that.
I mean, again, this I just want to say this was not a normal occurrence. I mean, this only happened once, and it was just I remember just watching it, what are you doing? No, he's not. Oh no. Oh my God, that stinks! What are you doing?
No, there was. I remember we once went to a nightclub in Leeds. We had a bunch of. I met a bunch of mates. And there was a man, in our crowd who, he was always a bit of an oddball, but he thought it was a good laugh to get his old man out and start slapping people in the leg with it,
Yeah.
And I just told him to knock it off, and I just jumped back to him. I had a suit jacket on at the time. And I said, I've just had that dry clean, mate, But yeah,
I mean, probably what made this particular thing worse was it wasn't even at night. It was like around tea time-ish. You know, like
yeah.
because I remember the final score being on.
It was immediately after the game, basically. Right.
No, I think the Manchester United one was a later kickoff, but all the other scores were being announced. It was when the BBC used to show FA Cup matches.
You're right. Yeah, so it'd be like sort of 5, 5:30, Tom and Jerry type time. Right. Yeah. So, do you have any other literature on this? If you had a brighter note, Arthur, do you have any other literature you want to show us?
I've actually been doing stuff for charity horror books. This is actually the 11th BHF book of horror stories. BHF isn't actually British Heart Foundation; it's British Horror Films. This was actually on a theme of folk horror, so it's kind of like things like The Wicker Man and basic films like that. But I've got a short story in that one. That's the 11th one. I'm actually in volumes 9 and 10 as well.
Right, well done.
And I've got one submitted that might be in volume 12. Basically, they've
Great.
somewhat decided which
ones keep us posted. Can you buy those online, Arthur, as well?
Yeah, online, yeah. But all the money from these goes to charity as well. So,
fantastic.
My story is actually illustrated by a science fiction book illustrator, guy called Smuz. He used to do stuff for 2000 AD, the company that did Judge Dredd.
Yes, I used to read that.
Yeah, he was one of their artists in the early days.
Is it, which person is it?
Smuz.
Smuz.
It used to be spelled SMS, but then he changed it to SMUZZ because basically because of smartphone messaging services.
Yeah.
Basically, he was no longer on top of search. If you look up SMUZZ,
yeah,
he's been up to Preston actually a couple of times, and basically he's been up to see me here and been to a few bars with me. I quite often see him at conventions and things as well. He's a really nice guy. He's actually a very talented artist as well. She's actually done the only comic strip that's actually featured story by me. So it's the only one of my stories that's actually been turned into a comic strip.
I mean, he must be good if he's drawn for 2000 AD because those really were excellent. I mean, Pat Mills, what was his name? Joe.
Yeah, I think he worked with Pat Mills for a while. Yeah.
Pat Mills is genius.
Very much in his early days. I don't think he does stuff with them now. He still does illustration and artwork for various things. But different stuff. Yeah.
Good man as well, Pat Mills. Good man.
You're reminding me just to make a note of something, Arthur.
That's actually one of my pamphlet type books. That's actually a small. That's actually me that he's drawn there, falling out of an aeroplane.
Fantastic!
So yeah, that's a Smuz original. That was done exclusively for me. So yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, he has done some really good stuff for me over the years. So I'm very, very grateful for his support. And I do quite a bit. I've actually got stuff in. I put together a compilation of my various horror stories and poem. Well, my poems. It's called "In Space No One Can Hear You Rhyme."
Right.
That's just a kind of compilation of all my science fiction themed poetry because it's handy to have them in one place for when I go to things I can safely printing tons of stuff out to take with me. So,
is that something you can buy a copy of, Arthur? Or?
Yeah, you can get those. That's actually on Lulu Press online. It's that's self-published. I did that one myself. I took the photo myself. That's actually on the roof of Ripley's Believe It or Not in Blackpool.
Oh wow!
It's a full-size T-Rex with a wristwatch.
We've done. We're both on Lulu then. I tell you what, I'm just going to send you a link to another publication. I think you definitely make the grade for it. That's one that I've been in a few times. Have you heard of a magazine called Otherwise Engaged?
No, I've not heard of that one.
Right, but they're always looking for poets, and I've been in that sort of about I think it's 5 or 6 times. So I'll send you a link to them, mate, because you definitely make the, no doubt. Definitely would. Yeah, do you have another one to show us, mate? Go ahead.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I can do one of my poems for you if you like. And,
Yes, please.
Yeah, what I was going to do, if possible, what I might do is I might do one, and then you can finish. You can finish. We can change the show line. If that works for you, yeah. But yeah, unless you've got, have you got any poetry like or anything like that? Anything you want, even just a quick limerick or anything like that?
I don't. I studied it at university, English literature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I started off doing short stories more, I think, but basically because I went to quite a lot of creative writing workshops, and most of them were doing poetry, so they were actually getting kind of pissed off because stories would tend to take longer to read than poems.
Yeah.
So basically, I started doing poetry as well. Then so I thought, well, I'm a writer. I do short stories. I don't do poetry, and I thought maybe I should actually give it a go and write one. And started playing around with words and came up with a few. And I thought, okay, that might work, and tried it out in front of a few into the groups, and then actually stuck my neck. I used to go to poetry slams in Manchester and took part in those. And there's one where I kept coming second or third for nearly 2 years, and then finally won the very last one they ever did. So it was like, I've regarded that as one of my. I've actually still got the what's called the Silver Stake Awards, because it was actually called the Creatures of the Night Vampire Poetry Society, and she used to give everyone a silver wooden stake afterwards. I've still got mine. It's like the nearest thing I've got to an Oscar.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you kept go on, mate.
I'm aware of the time. There was just a question I wanted to ask Arthur, if that's all right.
Sure.
Fire away.
Yeah. You mentioned something there about science fiction short stories.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you have a sort of an anthology called the Science Fiction Hall of Fame?
I think I've come across it. I may have seen it or something very similar.
Because there's one of my favourite ever science fiction short stories within that, and I did used to have it, but I mean, I bought it when I was like 15, and lost in the mists of time. But my favourite ever, the only time I've ever really seen it was my favourite ever science fiction short story called E for Effort.
Oh, right. I don't know that
it was about a Latino cinema in America, and somebody comes across this guy who's got a time viewer, and the films he actually shows are events from the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was quite cool. I just wondered if you'd seen it.
No, I'm not familiar with that one. I mean, there's all sorts of kind of variations on that kind of thing. I think probably my favourite one of anybody.
It was by T.L. Sheridan.
T.L. Sheridan. Don't know him. But I think probably my favourite story ever for those kind of things would be one by Frederick Brown called Answer. Basically, they build a giant supercomputer which can answer any question. And basically they ask it, is there a God? But it just replies, there is now. He's like, you built me, you've created a God now. And then they find they can't switch it off.
Sounds very Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, I think it's probably a darker tone to it than that. I mean, obviously with the whole thing about AI now, it's kind of very relevant. It's probably written in like the 1950s. But you see the way they're actually going with AI debates now as to whether the machines will take over, do a full-scale Terminator on us. It's quite a pertinent kind of theme.
That was a theme in one of those Outer Limits episodes. Remember the guy who gets the love robot? It's a disabled guy. It's like a kind of cyber companion. It's but the thing is that she's the wiring on her means she's incredibly possessive and prone to psychotic bouts of jealousy. So she ends up going on a rampage. I'll tell you, just thinking about books there, Arthur, just very quickly. I'll mention this to you. Do you know Johnny and Maya and that crowd? The poetry, the creative crowd from they go. I think they go into Conti sometimes.
Were they the purple?
They meet up on a Saturday as well. They meet up on a Saturday. They would meet up on. They were meeting at the larder when it was around. But I remember throwing a. I remember seeing they were launching this book about mental health and well-being, right? And a collection of poems on that subject.
Yeah, that's Maya's group, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember seeing the launch of that, and I remember thinking, "Oh my God! I've spent the last 3 months in like a drink-fueled haze. Two of those poems are mine." I didn't get on the launch.
This is what I meant for you, yeah.
Yeah, of course, that's free, that as well. I presume the money's going to some sort of charitable cause. I tell you the quick thing before we do a pilot and wrap up is you mentioned are you writing a play and you've got some scratch performances of that play going on at the moment. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. Basically, it's a thing that they're doing at the Ferret where you can try out some new writing in progress. And I wrote a series of sketches and playlets about basically a TV chat show guy. He's not interviewing celebrities, he's interviewing gods. So he'll interview like Zeus and characters from various world mythologies. And most of them are the obscure ones, but he interviews Aphrodite in one, and a guy called God Air, who's actually the Sumatran god of death. And I was going to actually stage 2 of the plays where I'm going to do the interviewers part, and there's 2 other people are actually playing. There's a lady from Blackpool coming in to play Aphrodite, and Sean Keefe, who's actually the manager of Vinyl Tap, who's offered to come in and do God A. So basically, we're doing the interviews with those, and there's audience feedback afterwards, and people get to talk to me and give me ideas of what they think of it, and say, and I've got to be prepared for them to say that you should fix this and this needs changing and things like that. So it'll be very constructive kind of critical feedback. There's 5 other writers are doing pieces as well. It's not just me. So like 6 of us will get about 20 minutes each to do our little bits. And
where is that again?
At the Ferret in Manchester on Fylde Road. I think it's about £6 to get in for the night. So there'll be.
What date's that, Arthur?
Wednesday, the 10th of September. So
that's a week on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah. So if anybody's around, can get over to the Ferret, come along to it. So if you look up Gary Cook and
I got Gary.
He's actually organising it through his group. I forgot the name of the actual group now. But they organise a lot of Enjoy the Show. That's what they call it. Enjoy the Show. They're organising it and they're putting it on at the Ferret. It's actually the second year they've done it. I didn't know about it the first year. This is the second year they've actually done it. I'm looking forward to being involved with that.
Well done on being involved with that. Well done on making the cut sort of thing. And good luck with it. And let me know how it goes. I might get down there and just. My health's not been so great recently, but there you go. I tell you what, over Christmas, funnily enough, I was sat in. It's one of the other strange week between Christmas and New Year. I was sat in the beer garden for most days during that week, and I was thinking of a play. Funnily enough, and it's interesting what your thoughts were. And it was about this sort of this tyrannical head of a family. And the storyline was that in the end he drove all of the family away one at a time. Yeah, black sheep, golden child, and eventually the wife. And I thought that the interesting thing about it's just what you're doing. You've written fiction as well. The interesting thing about when you create fiction is you have to think very carefully about the characters you're creating.
Oh yeah.
And there has to be a central thread running through the character that binds the whole thing together. And I was thinking about, you know what I think, Alan? The most dangerous people I've ever met in my life don't think they're dangerous. They think they're wonderful. They invariably think that they're almost perfect.
Yeah, kind of like Begbie in Trainspotting.
sort of like a messiah complex. Yeah. Well, yeah. Begbie sees himself as like he sees himself as like the equalizer, doesn't he? He sees himself as the right for wrongs. Yeah, like a kind of Glaswegian Dexter. Yeah.
It's almost textbook narcissism, really, in a way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we both had experience of narcissistic people, I think, Arthur.
Absolutely.
So, there you go. So, so my narc is better than your narc, though.
Well, so the trouble is they will fight you to the ground for it, basically, because they're so convinced that they're right.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those traits, isn't it, where people think that their preferences, their cognitive biases, their opinions are basically facts that should be believed by everybody else.
Well,
Matt Hancock.
Yeah.
The Donald. Yeah, it's a common thing actually. So there's more of it in the world than there used to be. Yeah. So I tell you, shall we do a poem each?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. I'll push the microphone off.
Right. So do you want to go first, or shall I? I'm easy.
I'll see. Take me a moment to. I'll do this one. It's called H2 Oz.
Yeah.
H2O, but with a Z on the end, which will kind of give you a clue what's coming. It's kind of a very silly one. The shark snatched from the water park, landing on a yellow brick road, alarmed to find that no water flowed, as Munchkins tried to fit Ruby slippers to his dorsal fins and flippers. He bit the mare's head off with a satisfying twist, as the deputy raged and shook his fist. This isn't Dorothy, you short-sighted buffoons! What use is a shark against the witch's flying baboons? Our tornado has raised a monster from the deep. We must get him back to the water before his eternal sleep. Oz will create quite a storm over this mess, while the mad old witch probably couldn't care less. Send the scarecrow running, has hell for leather. Tell the wizard we had problems with the weather. Our apologies, Mr. Shark, for this unfortunate calamity. Tap your fins together and repeat, there's no place like Amity. There's no place like Amity. There's no place like Amity. Finn?
Fantastic prose.
Beautifully done.
Can you guess which 3 films that is?
Well, Jaws, is that one of them?
Jaws, yeah.
Go on, Marco.
It's a sea film.
Yeah. Well, you've got Jaws in there because you've got the shark. You've got the Wizard of Oz because it's the yellow brick road and you have the ruby slippers. And Sharknado, you've got the tornado that transports it.
Yeah.
Goes there. So it's kind of merging the 3 together, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah. No, it was a lovely delivery. There's a great couplets in there as well. Very good indeed. Very good indeed. I'll do this. God, it feels a bit. I'll tell you what, I'll let you finish with the last one because it was a bit short, that. So I'll do this one. This is one of my most memorable ones called Seesaw. I'm sure you've heard me do this before, Arthur, actually. I think I did it at Best of Preston that time. It was a bit of a mad day. Great day on the stage. Just don't ask me about anything that happened afterwards. So this is called Seesaw, and it's about when I was a teenager. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Seesaw. My sun, my rain, my all-weather girl, passion, pain, my whole effing world. Each day's main event, our feature attraction. Others they sent were just distraction. A place in my heart, plus one in my bed. So a hostage to parts, please take me instead. Oh, I love you whole with all that I've got. My mind, my soul, and yes, my you-know-what. Romance is repressed. Sometimes more is less. The seesaw of that which you can't quite express. I'll always remember feeling far from fine. You transmitted tremors that seared down my spine. I'd not seen the point of girls before you. Jolted out of joint, my heart split in 2. Your mad friend, she has tried to steal my thunder. She said, hey there, Daz, would you like my phone number? I politely declined and you were the reason. You see, in my mind, that constitutes treason. See where this lands. Please come hold my hand. The seesaw of praying saying that she understands. A girl chased me round and I turned all avoidant. Someone later found me hidden in the toilets. It's you I admired, you're all I adored. That heartfelt desire, well worth waiting for. I was sweet 16, but stuck on life's shelf. Please know what I mean. I want no one else. Let's face it, you made me turn those others down. Someone loves you, baby. Take a look around. Disdainfully derided, so jokingly chided. The seesaw of history is woefully one-sided. So I told Dr. Natley that you'd be mortified if you knew all about me, but it turns out I lied. It's an indolent insult. How humiliating. A repulsive result. I'm not even worth hating. I'm rattled, enraged, perturbedly pissed. You will never acknowledge that I think exist. For 2 years you turned my young mind to mush. Well, guess what? He's since learned to spell the word airbrushed. So darkly discarded and wrongly regarded, the seesaw collapsed, reminiscence retarded, and I won't miss you if you can miss me. So from this day forth, please consider yourself airbrushed from my history.
Wow, that's good.
Wow.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
It's one of my better ones.
It's a great bit of rapping. Yeah.
I went out for a long walk. Cheers. I went out for a long walk one day in 2019, and I just wrote that in my head. I went home and I somehow remembered it.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that came naturally. It's a real life story. And actually, to think about when I was into this girl in an unrequited way, I should add. I think I've probably talked about it at Spark, thinking about it. When I was into this girl, and there were other people taking an interest. There was one. We went to a place called the Woodlands Centre, which was across the road from the school that I went to. And they had some sort of tie-in with Edge Hill University, so you could technically do a degree from there. And we went around the Woodlands Centre that afternoon, and this girl who was and it's like you said this to me not long ago, and you're absolutely right. If a girl's really forward with you, it's normally a bad sign. Not always, but it's normally a bad sign that they're not the most stable.
I didn't say. I said people in general. Like I was referring to sales people or anything like that. They say if people are too forward with you like that straight away,
right?
Beware.
Right. Yeah. It's just it scared me a little bit, because this girl was very very forward. And wouldn't take no for an answer either. And I was thinking, if any of us behaved like that, we'd be in a spot of bother, I think. And I had this stroke of genius. And I went, well, where's the one place I can go in the building and she can't? And that's the men's toilets. And so I went and head in there for a little while. And then I realised I was stuck in there.
What was this place? A college?
And this was the Woodland. It's probably called the Woodlands Centre. We went there for an afternoon in school. It was a further education place, which is why we were there. Yeah. Yeah. So I just remember being chair. So and I suppose that poet. I'll just let you finish with one of the sec, Arthur. The sad thing about that poem, Arthur, isn't that you had unrequited feelings for somebody who would never have got with you. It's the fact that you've gone through all this kind of angst and all this pain, and guess what? The only person in the world it was ever a big deal to was you. Yeah? Yeah. What could be a massive deal in your world is nothing in the world of anybody else. And that's the real tragedy, isn't it? Perhaps irrelevance is the ultimate insult,
Yeah, I've met a few people like that, unfortunately, over the years.
Oh, well, in what sense, mate?
People who, particularly, it was a good sign. Basically, the cult was after me that I should have picked up on.
Yeah.
It's almost like they almost venerate everything you say. It's like they've hardly met you, and it's like everything you say is so profound to them. It's like they're shouting their friends over. Come and meet this guy. Come and meet this guy, and it's like. They all kind of sit around. Oh, wow! And it's like you're just having normal conversation. It's like not like you Confucian wisdom, but basically they treat everything you say as like it's the most amazing thing ever. And it's like you start to think you're selling something here. What is this? What are you up to?
Well, that my friend is love bombing. That's what they called it in psychology. That is love bombing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Absolutely.
You sent me that Eurythmics B side or whatever it was. Oh my God, that was painful to listen to.
I remember somebody saying like if you go to any sort of car showroom, you're going to be pounced on instantly. But then if you go to, for example, the Alfa Romeo showroom or a Bentley showroom, that you have to go and look for them.
Right. Maybe, yeah. So, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, thanks for sending that link to that B-side by the Eurythmics Cinema. I don't listen to it once because I could only listen to it once. It was
He's virtually unlistenable.
It was painful stuff, but it was a B-side, so it was a throwaway thing. So shall we let we'll let you finish, mate, with another quality poem.
I don't know if it's quality. Well, it'll be of a quality, not necessarily a good one.
The two that have been on so far have been great. So we'll complete that. We'll complete the hat trick.
This is. But you've heard of probably the film called The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. This is a 1950s B movie, which is a great film actually. The original one, the remakes are terrible. I did a poem called The Attack of the 50-Foot Nun.
This sounds promising. It sounds promising.
Sister Superior stomps on the inferior and gouges the earth to get to the interior, convinced the core is hell. No science spouting infidel can tell her she's wrong. Faith keeps her strong as she smites down the sinners. There can be no winners as she kills all true believers too. Convinced that she's casting their souls through the pearly gates of paradise. Whether you've been wicked or nice, you're heaven sent if you agree to repent. The other place awaits those she doesn't consider saints. It's the apocalypse, plain and simple. This is how the world ends, not with a bang, but with a wimple.
I like. And I love that. Yeah, I love the delivery. And I love the. Like if you listen to some of the stuff I did there, it's very song-like. But yours, you can slip the rhyme in sort of mid-sentence and then break off at a tangent in a completely different way. I love the delivery. I love the sort of the style, the mix of pentameter and freestyle that you do. It's really good. Thanks for being here and for being you, mate. So what I'll do, you want to send us the links to the stuff that you got that you can buy, stuff of yours that you can buy, the online links or whatever, and I'll put those on the YouTube video for anyone who wants to watch. Top man. So your play is it's a week on Wednesday at the Ferry.
Yes, it's called my segment's called Deity of the Day.
But it's part of a bigger show. It's part of it. So
there's a few other shows on and with it as well. Yeah.
So if you can get along and you can put your hand in your pocket and support your local arts scene, because use it or lose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all pretty good stuff. And So what else, anything else you're on with? You want to tell us about, or that pretty much it at the moment?
No, I'm going to the Festival of Fantastic Films next month. I'm not actually in it, but I'm going to it basically. So there'll be lots of very strange, kind of weird B movies there. I am a film fanatic as well, so I'm always going to the cinema and watching stuff on TV. I'm on basically. You can find me on a page called Letterboxd, which is kind of a film reviewing site. I know a lot that I see on there. And I think I've seen over 5,000 films now, basically, that I've listed on there. Basically, so I enjoy interacting with people on cinema and stuff like that as well. There's a couple of YouTubes of actually short films that I've been involved in, and films that people have made of stuff that I've actually written as well. I'll send you some of the links to those as well.
Magic.
So there's plenty out there, and it's great that you're doing these podcasts to show people basically the various things that are going on in Preston as well. And it's great that Largo's joining us from Europe, and basically it's been fantastic too. I mean, you're giving people a lot of opportunity with this.
Oh, no, that's
Nice
good.
to talk to you.
Yeah, that's good to talk to you. Yeah, it's a win-win. Believe me, it's a win-win. Yeah, we love having our guests on. I mean, some of them are part of that scene. I mean, Flip, I'm going to get. I know we're not far from wrapping up, so. But yeah, thanks for being you, mate. Like I mean, we'll do it again.
Time I've been on this, and he was great last time, and it's great this time as well.
Yeah, we'll do it again, maybe. We'll see if we might have a series 3. We might not. Who knows? Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope you manage to get one. Yeah. Keep
right.
going.
So yeah. The other thing is, I'll send you the link to that publication. Otherwise, engaged. I think you're fitting right in. You're right in with that. Right with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's always nice to say it's been published in a serious way. And not like somebody on that Facebook page, angry letters in local newspapers. I'm a published poet, don't you know?
Vanity Publishing.
Sorry?
Vanity Publishing.
Yeah.
No, it's like page 37 of the Derbyshire Stormtrooper or whatever, you know. Right.
I did actually have somebody once stamp at me about a creative writing work, so he's prattling on with all sorts. He was going off at all sorts of tangents every 5 minutes, and I pulled him up for it, and he was like, I've got an MA in creative writing. I outrank you. It's like what?
Thank you.
I think he realized himself after he said it. He was like, "Oh my god, I shouldn't have said that."
Right.
I'm your superior officer.
I am a ranker, yeah, and a chance to correct that spelling mistake. Right. So, right. Well, there you go. Well, it might come on the show. You never know. Speaking of which, we've got some interesting guests lined up in the not so distant future. Largo, especially for you, actually, we're going to get Craig back on, Mr. Haydock. Just because he's a kind of he's one of those people who knows a lot of things about a lot of things, and you can have a great chat, and you can spend 2 or 3 hours on a Friday night down the pub with. That's right, is Largo, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So
person on any pub quiz.
Fantastic. So we'll get. He's basically. I don't know if he's doing much of that. He does write stuff now. He does write sort of various bits and pieces. I would say he should put it into some sort of collection, even if it's just a collection of like his best Facebook posts. You know, it's like his kind of his little talks or whatever. I think that'd be very interesting. Maybe one we can discuss Friday on the 12th of September. Our friend Martin Rowley will be back. Hopefully, he's agreed to it anyway. The 19th, we've got Joe Stunner again from Joe Stunner Boxing. Mm-hmm. We had a great time with last year. And again, another returning guest on the 26th is Gary Naylor, the broadcaster and theatre critic, of course. We had on, and we were talking about that day Everton should have got relegated and didn't. Remember that? So yeah, so we've got a full house for September. So it starts with you, Arthur, and it should stay good. So any more before we head off?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything there. No, it's been great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, mate. Right, and we'll see you on Friday when Craig will be our guest. And just for now, thanks for tuning in and bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.